you have some show and tell for
I
us.
do.
Yes.
So we had, was this last week or the week before?
I think it was the week before.
The week before last.
Yeah.
I had a flare going on with the Chiari, and it became, I have TN, and I will post in the blog what that stands for, but neither of us can pronounce
Say it or spell it.
But for me, it's caused from the pressure in my spine, from the Chiari and the surgeries I've had, and the nerve is affected that goes along the jaw and into the face. And
But you can get it without Chiari, right?
And you do not have to have Chiari
Right.
to have TN. So I was going into a flare, and I was panicking.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly I was panicking because normally I use, I won't use it all the time because of the issues of taking Tegretol long term. I choose not to deal with those. So I take Tegretol when I have a flare. Well, now I've started another anticonvulsant for epilepsy, and it does not gel well with Tegretol. So I was panicking, and I called our friend Kelly, who is wonderful. She's an RN with Chiari,
Mm-hmm.
that we met at a conference. We were expecting her to probably talk about the medical side of Chiari because she's a nurse with Chiari. And instead she was talking about all this stuff that we are doing.
Right.
And so we were like, oh, we have to have coffee with this lady.
Right.
And it has started a wonderful friendship.
Relationship. Yes.
And so I called her for any suggestions that she had for natural remedies, which really sometimes natural does not sound like a good option. Drugs sound like a wonderful option.
It's a quick fix, right? It helps.
Right, and especially
Fast.
when you're facing something like a TN flare,
Right.
because you know it's going to be, we were talking about a video we saw online of this woman that had TN, and she was describing taking the battery chargers and putting them on your face, and that's what it felt like to have a flare, which is what it feels like. And they actually call it the suicide disease.
Right.
So anyways, I called her, what are the natural options? Because I need to start working on this because I'm going to have flares, and the Tegretol, which is one of the few drugs that actually help with that, is possibly not going to be an option. So she was wonderful. She actually has TN, I think, as well. And she had some great ideas, some oils to use, to take a bath, and I'll show you the oil that I made, which I love for everything. But to do an Epsom salt bath, and I do that with the coconut oil and peppermint, massage oil, and lavender. And this particular time, I also put cannabis in the oil.
We do have our medical marijuana cards, so that's why we're able to use that. And that might be a whole
Nice
other
little
segment.
disclaimer.
Right.
But the cannabis oil, I don't even think has, I think it's all CBD, but we'll look into that.
Right.
But so that's when actually this oil that I have now was born. And so I've made an oil now of they're all able to be taken by mouth. It's peppermint oil, lavender oil, cannabis, and coconut oil. And so it can be used by mouth. It's a little bit strong by mouth.
Can you put it on your tongue? Maybe
Actually, I put a little kava in this stuff.
Okay. Like if you
You
put it on your
can
tongue.
put it
then-
under your tongue.
Yeah.
I have.
Because I put the cannabis oil under my tongue when I have a migraine, and then I'll put it like here and here and here, and it's usually gone in like 10 minutes. And this stuff is awesome. Her little mix.
Right, and so one of the things she said is oil up. And so I made this oil and I put it along my neck and jawline, and now this oil I use for my neck spasms all the time.
If you ever come
Love
over
it.
to our house and you complain about an ailment, Kelly will have an oil for you.
Yeah, don't complain if you don't want an oil.
Right.
That's all I have to say about that.
You just hear her going through the cabinets in the bathroom, and next thing you know, Nurse Kelly's out
I have a concoction.
treating things.
And something she also mentioned, I'm going to introduce you to
Oh
now.
no, here we go.
Oh, I hate her. Okay, I love you, Kelly, but I sort of hate you, and I hate this thing.
Kelly
And
recommended she wear this.
Kelly recommended, she said, where is your collar?
And
Not-
why
you
do you
know,
wear?
I'm-
Why have you worn this in the
This
past?
is, I have cervical cranial instability. So I need surgery, which I'm pushing back at least until past November.
Right.
We have a little trip planned. So, but anyways, this is, they had me start with this after my tethered cord surgery, and I'm gonna show you this. This is
Oh, here we
horrific.
go.
And I look like a chipmunk in it, but
Do you need help? You probably have it
oh,
down
I
pat
have
by
this.
now.
I have this thing
Let
down.
me get. Wait.
Oh, you gonna get
no,
the
we
arm
gotta
thing
get.
for me?
Yep. That
Aw.
thing's stuck. There we go. Is that going to your arm?
Nope, it goes
Close.
over.
Go over.
Yeah. This
There we go.
I call like a spacesuit. Her name is Big Bertha. There's nothing unobtrusive about this collar.
I'm sure in the Arizona heat, it probably does not feel good to have all that
It
attached
is,
to you.
it is much more comfortable in the winter. But this thing, is this on my arm right? Oh, that's just the strength of my shirt. Okay, so this is
Big Bertha.
So, for about a week, I wore this every time I got up. Obviously, she's not that comfortable to sleep in. And now I'm trying to, and this is a good thing to remember because this is probably what set me in the flare. But I should probably use this when I do things like laundry.
Yeah.
And but that's Big Bertha. So I started wearing Big Bertha.
And she decorated it nice and cute.
I did. I put my
yeah.
butterflies on there. Yeah, anything you give me, my walker had lean on me stickers on it and butterflies. My cane was
Johnny
decorated.
Walker, right? Didn't you have
Johnny
Johnny
Walker
Walker?
was on there at one time. I decorated,
Yeah.
but anyways, so I did these things for about a week, and actually after the first night and the first soak, and you starting to use Big Bertha, which I don't want to admit, helped immensely, and I avoided a full TN flare.
Yeah.
So it is possible, and it is possible to do naturally. And I hope that I report that to you again, and not that I had to double medicate those prescriptions.
Right.
So,
That's really our goal, is to kind of go as natural as possible.
right.
And we are not doctors or nurses. We have no degrees. We are just trying to figure out what works best for us, and we want to share that with you so that you can try things, because it's amazing what we have found that works without popping the Excedrin, popping the Vicodin.
Without putting chemicals
Right.
from food or drugs into
Right.
our body.
Always trying the natural way first. And
And
occasionally,
I have to say,
yeah.
I can't go through this segment without like admitting that I am a DDP addict.
Yes. And DDP is Diet Dr. Pepper. We don't refer to it as Diet Dr. Pepper because that would be bad.
Right.
DDP is just a drink.
Right, exactly. It's just a drink that helps
Yes.
me get through the day.
And when she has them in the refrigerator, then I want DDP, but I try to stay away from it. If I have one, it's one a day. Because I used to be a terrible soda addict.
And I am a soda addict.
Yeah,
And
and-
I am not going to a
yeah.
12-step meeting because those people have to quit.
Right.
And so, eventually I will, and right now I am coming off of all of the narcotics. I just recently gotten my card, and I'm going to
That's medical marijuana
for
card.
medical marijuana card for those of you that live outside of Arizona.
Right.
It is legal in Arizona if you have a card. and I'm looking to use it for the epilepsy as well. I'm just waiting to talk to my neurologist about that before I switch over.
But your other doctor thought it was a really good idea.
For the pain,
For pain
the muscle
management,
spasms, and nausea,
Yeah.
and the epilepsy, but she's not going to recommend
Right.
anything for that. But yeah, she thought it was a great alternative to get off of all of these medications.
Yeah. And my biggest thing is for headaches. Even without sugar, I still will get migraines. I don't get them as often. I used to get them weekly, usually a few times a week. Now it's
Several times a week.
yeah. Now it's maybe one a week. But if I catch it in time with the cannabis oil, it helps. But otherwise, it's like maybe a couple times a month now instead of a couple times a week. So, but everything we're doing is making huge improvements to that. So.
So it's possible. It's possible.
It is, yep.
Thank you for joining us
Thank
today.
you. See you again soon.